Sometimes people don't understand why it is that I end up doing the things that I do. But what it is it when I have a strong urge to do something, or intuition, or basically, uh, I'm being told to do something. I have to listen to that voice, uh, that, inside me, kind of like, telling me what to do. And what it is when it doesn't mean that I'm schizophrenic, but it's just kinda like, an analogy would be if I smelled smoke, then basically the little voice inside of me would say, "Go find out where the smoke is coming from, 'cause where there's smoke, there's chances are there's a fire." But anyhow, um, I've had things happen to me, like wake up, when I was sleeping, and all of a sudden be like, get the keys and walk down to the basement and go in, and basically I was basically taken to where I needed to go. And sure enough, it would be things like uh something electrical was still plugged in and it was smoking, basically, uh things like that. So basically I talked to people and told them what had happened, even though they were sound asleep. And it just what I'm getting at is that I was probably like 8 years old when that happened. And then I just I was yelling and screamed at and basically called, a psycho bitch, 'cause I said, "I smell gas." And basically who was yelling and screaming at me and putting me down and minimizing things, was not only were they wrong, there were 3 major gas leaks that were found. I was like, "No, I'm calling to see where the gas is coming from." And another time, somebody was, "I don't smell anything." And I'm like, "But I smell something." And it's just like, I mean, and then when I realized that the smoke wasn't coming from the room or the area that I was in, that's when I ended up banging on the door below. Sure enough, that's when um the guys ended up putting stuff in the oven and left it in the oven, and I was yelled and screamed at by all the ones, just thinking that I was just being a an asshole for knocking on their door and making such a loud noise and stuff. And then it's like it's just like the smoke has to be coming from below. And so I ended up pounding on the door, and then ended up waking them up in their drunken stupor. And I want to bring that up because that for people to sit there and be hanging out at bars and getting drunk and stuff, just think about the stupidity of basically it's stupid. It would be like the equivalent of putting a blindfold on and getting behind a car of a wheel, or an airplane, and going, "Oh, I can drive. I can fly the plane." I mean, I'm just like, uh-uh. But any and but anyhow, getting back to the place where I was staying and stuff. So I was yelled at and screamed at and shut up, I'm trying to sleep. And my point is after that, I cannot even tell. It's like whenever I would end up seeing stuff on the television or in newspapers where apartment buildings had burnt down, it was a reminder of that when I'm told that when I have when that voice, when that intuition, when that ESP, I'm not going to get into the minutia as far as whatever it is, but but anyhow, when I'm told that I have to do something, I have to do something. And when I don't do what I'm basically am being told that I have to do by the intuition, by my gut, and I don't mean my stomach growling, but anyhow, when I don't listen to that, is when when it's kind of like doing a self-inflicting injury, if that makes sense. It's like when I was in the airport and said I need to change my ticket, and they tried to, oh, everything's gonna be okay, and I'm like, no, I need to change I need the ticket changed. Well, when's the next flight? I know everything. The flight's getting ready to take off. It'll be just in a little bit. So yeah, that's kind of like an example of minimize. I'm like, no, I need to change. I need to have the ticket changed. No, everything's going to be okay. You don't want to do that because that's going to be. I think it was like an hour and a half later. I said, no, I need to get on a different flight. I can't take the flight that I'm originally scheduled to be on. And my point is that it, and then once again, it's just like there were all sorts of whispers when the ones ended up getting behind me. Um, After I was in line to have the ticket changed and stuff, and it's just like, how did you know that there was something wrong with the plane? I mean, it was for mechanical. Flight such and such has been whatever for due to mechanical failures. I don't remember the exact wording, but all I'm getting at is I just knew that I had to that I couldn't just sit there and be quiet about it. That I that and I've had different things happen, and I mean I had a dream one time, and it was in color, and I was like, I didn't know the exact meaning of the dream and stuff, but I knew who exactly I needed to end up talking to, and they were like, "Oh, everything's fine." I said, "Well, uh, eh, and it wasn't. It may have seemed like it was fine at the time, but it wasn't fine." And basically, somebody who had been given a clean bill of health and checked out by the doctors was told that everything was fine with his health, and he ended up uh, dying a very short period of time after I'd had the dream, and I knew. I could tell something bad was going to happen, but I couldn't tell exactly what bad was going to happen. And actually, the one that I was had talked to told me that I have ESP. I'm like, ESP? What's ESP? and then basically it dealt with the it deals with intuition. I can't go into the number of times that I would be kind of like a smoke detector going off and going, so, something's not right, and just time and time and time and time and time and time. I want to bring that up because there was a movie and a child ended up saying in the movie, that guy is strange. And sure enough, the child was right. Um, and what was very odd is that different people had written different stuff in the comment section. We're talking about the mom of this, the whatever. But and all I could think of is the child in the movie was the first one to basically say there's something wrong. And I want to bring that up because so sometimes people will talk to their children and they'll do things like, how was school today? And they'll say something like that in front of somebody who could basically be the big bad wolf. And my point is that sometimes people need to make sure that there's no wolves around. And I really mean that. One of the big bad wolves that somebody was wondering about, is everything okay? Well, just so happened to have been a medical doctor. Or a Cheshire cat when I was a child. Had a big grin on his face and all that kind of stuff. And what I'm getting at is it just because somebody's smiling at you doesn't mean that they have good intentions. And it doesn't matter what sort of uh don't do not be fooled by pieces of paper called diplomas that are on inside different buildings. Don't be fooled by them. That doesn't mean that I'm paranoid. All I'm getting at is when I think about the different ones that brag about being smart and brag about perfect SAT scores and perfect whatever scores and all that kind of stuff. And being members of Mensa and being master bridge players and whatever else. Um, and high IQ scores. sort of stuff has nothing to do with with ability to love, ability to care for people, ability to just all sorts of different things. Just look at it. People can read for themselves the number of medical doctors who have been charged with rape. People can read for themselves how medical doctors are barely given a slap on the hand for rape. People can look at medical doctors like Jack Kevorkian and look at things called like the American Eugenics Societies and stuff, and go, oh wow, so and come up, well, is that medical doctor possibly a member of the Eugenics Society? Is that nurse possibly a member of the Eugenics Society? Is that dentist possibly a member of the Eugenics Society? I mean, think about that. How many dentists have been caught doing what is it, nitrous oxide and doing the laughing gas? How many medical doctors have been busted for I mean, it's just, but just because one medical doctor or a few medical doctors have been busted for something or prosecuted for something, that doesn't mean all the ones that are guilty of doing something have been prosecuted in their court system.